So shout out to all those in the chat, whether it's YouTube, whether it's here on Twitch as well. But here we go, spawning in the top right hand corner of Ley Lines, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the Red Protoss player representing Team Liquid as well as their teammates. It is Clem. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Get your gamba going as we jump into game one of this fresh best of 3 semifinals match. Let's go. For some greater context, as we're moving out for a proxy, but for greater context, the winner of this series will advance on to face off against MaxPax. MaxPax, he's waiting in the grand finals for one of these two players, for a Terran opponent. But a cheeky start here by Cure. He goes for a Rax back at home, and he's rallied here towards the left-hand side for what looks to be an eBay block.
Game paused.
As we do have a bit of a pause. Hopefully everything's okay. But I believe this SCV is designed to avoid this scouting probe. So he avoids the probe, he does hug the edge of the map, then he waits a little bit, then he goes in, and then he goes for the eBay block here at the expansion to try to force an uncomfortable start out of Clem. Now we'll see if he's successful. We'll see when Clem checks the natural. Basically, if Clem scouts too late, if there's too much progression on the eBay, then Clem, he has to take the unnatural natural instead. There we go.
Game
Go back.
resumed.
As the SCV comes in. And there we go, there comes the eBay. eBay is on the way. So far, Clem, he has yet to confirm. For now, checks across the map. It is going to be the standard opening here, just single gas into Rax. Here it does pull back. Much love to Enki, by the way, much love. Much love. And yeah, it's at this point, yeah, too much regression here. Clem gonna be forced to take the unnatural natural. Probe does move out, so the SCV does chase. Uh-oh. And Clem, can he get it on location? He should be able to. He should be able to get the base just in time. So the Nexus is placed. And Cure, so far, very successful here with the eBay. Does force a very awkward position here out of Clem. There's a cancellation. And it's going to be up to... Gonna be up to Clem here to recover and to defend his bases. Like the power here of being forced, the power of being forced, Clem being forced to expand here towards the third base location is forcing his army to split. He has to split up his army between his main base and his natural to defend against Hellion run-bys, to defend against aggression, drop play as well. Here we go. Shout out to the other casters. There's Enki casting in Spanish. There's Dave. There's Stegosaurus, who's also the admin of the event. We have Bomioja as well. Pig El Chanchito. Pig is there. Rocklet's casting in Portuguese. So shout out to all the other casters. Much love, much love. Meanwhile, Twilight counts are open out to Clem. Nothing crazy. Again, as a reminder, Clem, he doesn't often deviate. We don't often see like Stargate open or anything. All right, yeah, Mapple's there as well. True. Maple also casting in English. That's behind this. We do have our initial 2-1-1. Okay, this I was not expecting. That's going to be a second Rax before Starport. We'll see if we go for a third Rax. Yep, third Rax before Starport as well. Hyper aggression here out of Cure. So Cure, he isn't really being too active early on. I say that now. He's got 4 Hellions. 4 Hellions do move out. He's diving into the main. Clem, he does spot this. Clem, nothing in position. And Hellions, they can one-shot. They can one-shot these probes. Probes, oh, they do line up for a moment. Boys are being pulled. Oh my god, brutal connection. Oh no! Brutal connection. 6 probes go down, and he's not done. He's not done. He gets one more volley. Ay, ay, ay. That could have been so much worse. Clem, he does survive with most of his probes. That's still going to be 7 probe kills. And again, a big reason why this happened is because Clem, he was split between his bases because of that start, because of the eBay block. There's a really awkward defense here by Clem, and Cure, he's not done. As a reminder, that is a third Rax before Starport. This can turn into a 2-base all-in, but regardless, we are hyper-fixated on bioproduction before Medivacs. So this is a hyper-aggression here from Cure, just focusing on his army production before committing to a move-out. So Cure, he's just storing his energy, he's building up his bio, his marines, his stim, his tanks. Eventually he will push, and it will hit like a truck. It's going to be on Clem to figure out what's going on, as Clem is still unaware. He has not seen the main base, he doesn't know. Third base on the way, so Clem is just focusing on his economy. And Clem, he is denied entry into the main. Now, if he scouts this, oh, he commits! Bit of a misstep there from Clem. He commits, adepts go down, massive pickoff. Clem getting vision into the main, and the observer will confirm. Now, upon confirming here, Clem, it's still going to be a very awkward defense for him. If he sees, oh, the observer gets sniped. Nice scout, nice scan. But at least Clem, he saw the production, so he knows. He knows about the 3-1-1, or the 3-1 even. He's going for a charge follow-up. This should be done in time. So Clem, he is going to be relying on a very gateway-heavy composition. He's not going Colossus, he's going +1, charge, and Blink Stalkers. And he needs those warp-ins. But because of the early losses, like he has to reprobe, he has to resaturate first before being able to afford all of these gateways. He's getting up to a 6-gate setup. Stalkers are only here to scout the move out. And this is not a 2-base all-in. The reason why I say this is because there is a starport. There are variations of this where you skip the starport and you just pull the boys. You just pull the boys and you just commit. With the starport on the way, this tells us that there's a little bit more longevity with this, which means Cure, he can expand as he pushes. But still very aggressive. Still very aggressive nonetheless. And Cure, he will push with his medevacs. So he's waiting for the medevacs. When they arrive, then he can move out. Once again, Cure, oh my god, he sees everything, Bobby. Ay, ay, ay. Does spot the observer, snipes the second one as well. Third observer on the way. I'm concerned that Clem is stuck making more observers instead of an immortal, like just for safety. So that is a concern. And we're about to push. Now, as you can see, as Cure is pushing, third CC. So again, not an all-in. He is going for a late expansion, but it's going to be worth it if he's able to get damage done. Here we go. Here comes the Unsiege. The medevacs have arrived. And remember, this is hitting with +1 attack, with stim, and with combat shields, and with just a massive amount of bio because of the build order itself. Ideally, Clem wants to slow this down. He's warping in Zelts as we speak. Clem, he is supply blocked. Okay. So the pylon finished. Never mind, the pylon did finish. He's okay. But we need as many warp-ins as possible. Cure moving in. Does scan ahead of time, does spot the army. Ideally, Clem, he wants us around. Clem is moving in with that southern force. Tanks do siege. Oh. Clem being forced back. And he does collapse on the army. He does dive in. The cells say force on friendly fire. He's getting on top of the tanks. Nice, very nice force fields. Oh my god. And the tanks will fall. Clem, he holds. Whew. Clem, he holds on. Again, the force fields are crazy. Cure, he does kite back. He kites well. Uh-oh. Does kite well. Takes off the zealots. Cure still has a threatening army, but without those tanks, he's lost the backbone of his force. He's forced back. He's forced back home, and I would say coming into this, Clem is in a better position. He's in a better position. We have the Bay on the way. We have +2 into Colossal production. Clem has to be careful, though, as he runs into the army. I'm not so sure he wants to. Right, just going off. Zealots go down. The Stalkers are exposed. Yeah, very shaky fight here for Clem. Clem, he cannot fight this head on. Yeah, not like this. He gets punished. Clem's in trouble. He has to back off. As he pulls away, going for a run-by. Going for a Zealot counterattack towards that third. Likewise, Cure going for the drop. So we have a back and forth, still very tense between the two players. Very tense. Into the main. Going for the warp-in as well. Widowmines there waddling in. Prism has to get the hell out of here. Does pull away. And what's important is that Clem is buying time. He's keeping Cure distracted while he builds up his 4th expansion and Colossus. You know what, Cure, he spots the base. He's going for it. So they come back in. Clem, he is fully aware. Once again, nice force fields. Get denying DPS from half the army. Very nice force fields. Clem likewise chasing Cure down. Catching up more Marauders. I mean, that's what, 3 Marauders falling. Very nice pickoffs. As he's going for another Marauder, or going for the medevac even. There we go, another Marauder goes down, and another to get the target firing. Every time Clem, he does target as many Marauders as he can. Building up his army, second Colossus on the way. Again, securing himself on a 4-base setup. Like, Cure's moment was his first push, but again, it really failed to get crippling damage. It traded with the army. Didn't do much more than that. And Clem, he's arrived. Oh! Go to my connections. Clem moving in. Baiting out the Widow Mines. Does bait them out. Collapsing the army. Scan does miss the Observer. Observer's behind the army. Curious up against the wall here, up against the ropes. Trying to hold on the Colossus. They just do so much damage to the back line. Swiping away here at the Marauders. Oh. Oh my god, the punish is real. Jesus. The swipes are crazy. The swipes are insane. There's just one Viking for now. And Clem, he's trying to kill. He's going for the kill. He's going for the throw. He wants to end the game with this push. Now up to 3 Colossus. Still just rallying in across the map. 4th Colossus on the way. Now we're building up the Viking count up to 3 Vikings. And up to 3. Not many Stalkers. Boys are being pulled to repair. Colossus are a little bit too far behind. They have to move forward. There we go. They're getting on top of the Marauders. Getting 3 more Marauders. Boys are pulled into Colossus. And finally, 1 Colossus may just barely get... No, not even. Oh my god, GG gets called. Clem, he overwhelms the army. Clem, he punishes the committed push. And Clem will take game number 1. Ooh, GG. Clem, he takes the lead in the series. Again, a very intense back and forth. Cure's big moment, as we mentioned, was his double medevac timing. If you recall, he moved in with his 2 medevacs. He moved in with his stim, +1 in combat shields. And his army was looking very threatening, but he didn't get into the bases. He didn't punish the economy. He didn't punish the bases. He traded with the Gateway army instead. And we saw Clem handle himself very nicely against that army. The force fields were on point. He focused on the tanks real fast and real quick. GG. GG well played. Just a really impressive engagement there from Clem, and from there, Clem snowballed out of control. Cure, he was trying to stabilize, was trying to keep up, and we had some close engagements, that's true, but for the most part, Clem, he was in a better position, slightly better, with that GG. With that GG well played, and that leads us into game number 2, and we'll see if Cure can bounce back. We'll see if he can bounce back and force the ace match. Here we go. Why is Clem in his main? Because it was getting ready for drops. He had his army split. As a reminder, if you recall, you say his main base and his natural base were spread apart. Because of the opener, he was forced to expand at the 3rd location, so he had to split up his army. Had to keep it split. Then he consolidated once he realized that there was no drop into the main. So there's plenty of reason for him to be split like that. Maybe Clem can be world champ with Terran and Toss. Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, there's no question in anyone's mind that Clem in EWC, he will play Protoss against Terran. Like, that's not... You could argue that Clem could have an easier and stronger performance in EWC now that he's competing as Protoss. Like, again, last year, when it came to his TvT matchups, they were a lot more shaky. They were a lot more closer. I mean, again, so the reason why he's playing Protoss is because his weakest matchup is TvT, and we have seen players like Ryung, Byeon, Cure definitely threaten him as Terran. So you could argue that now he has now he's in much stronger form coming into EWC this year. And definitely make that argument. Now that he's unlocked his Protoss side to deal with the PvT matchup. Here we go. Here we go, and we're getting into our next game. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the red Protoss player, with the red Protoss himself representing Team Liquid, leading the series 1-0. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Terran player, with the blue Terran from South Korea representing Team Liquid. Ooh, this time actually going for a proxy. Let's go. It is Cure. As the SCV does move out, and we're getting ready for the proxy Raxes. Now, it's only going to be one SCV. He's not moving out with a second worker, so just the one proxy here initially from the side of Cure. We'll see if this is going to be proxy Reaper with a bunker rush at the natural. Based on the rally, it looks to be the case. So it looks like it's just going to be Reaper into bunker. The other option, technically, is to go into, like, proxy Marauder. True, that would be another option. Cure is quite fond of it, proxy Marauder. But for the time being, I'm leaning towards, especially just based on the setup that he has here, it should instead just be the Reaper. So not too committed. Meanwhile, we do have Clem setting up. This time he'll be able to expand on location without any issues. And the bunker should be on the way. Now the goal here is, especially because the building has limited vision, to get a bunker behind the mineral line or within range of the mineral line, and then you can just deny mining. And hey, here we go. We do see the SCV does skirt around the edge. There's that bunker. And this is all to disrupt the economy of Clem. Clem, now he scouts, now he knows. So he knows what's going on. He's aware of the bunker. Behind this, waiting for a cybercore. The boys are being pulled. I don't think he can deny the bunker, though. The Reaper, it's already on the way. It's going to be close. It's going to be close here. The SCV is under fire. Where's the RNG? As if she does get over to the other side. Oh, does pull away. Reaper has arrived. And the SCV is safe. Yeah, the SCV is safe. The bunker will complete. And Clem, that was a big commitment there, pulling the boys. Lost a lot of mining time. Reaper breaks in once again. Getting another probe, getting 2 so far. Pulls back. And we'll see how long it takes for Clem to deal with this. Now again, the purpose of this, as we can see, oh no! Oh, SCV goes down. Big slip up there from Cure. That should not have happened. I was going to say, ideally that SCV survives and you can repair. You can repair and you can maintain this position even longer. But already the goal is to deny any kind of mining. So 0 economy here at the natural base for Clem. Oh, Cure here extends. He overextends. Again, he lost the SCV. He lost one of the Reapers. Again, that should not have happened. And Clem, he doesn't even this shield battery. Oh no. Oh god. So Clemmy's fine. Clemmy's perfectly fine. He will shut this down. He will expand. He will saturate. Oh, the salvage. Okay. Clem, a little bit late. Late to react. For those who do not know, on the latest patch, you can deny the salvage by attacking. That's why the salvage was reset earlier. But Clem, he was out of position. The salvage does pop off, and with that Cure, he can at least get some resources for his trouble. But I would still say this is a better position for Clem. So basically what happened here, because the SCV went down, because there was no repairs, it meant that Clem didn't need the shield battery. Typically, in a standard setup here, you do need a shield battery to actually deal with this, but without an SCV, the shield battery wasn't necessary. He cancelled. It's a much cleaner defense here by Clem overall. And now we can settle in. We can settle into our game. So Clem is getting to his own 2-gate blink setup. Meanwhile, Cure back at home, once again getting to his own 3-1-1. But as you can see, this time it's a different build. This time it's a faster starport into drop play. This time it's nowhere near as aggressive as last game. Remember, last game it was a delayed starport with an earlier 3-max. Here, earlier 1-1-1. Earlier drop play instead, into Widowmine drop. So Cure, he's going to be less aggressive. He's going to be more passive in the mid game. But there's a lot of potential here with this drop, as he does move out across the map. Clem, what does he have to defend? Blink is not yet complete. Stalkers are at the 3rd base. There's 1 Stalker in the main. Sorry, 2 Stalkers in the main base. And the scary thing about this drop is that Clem doesn't know how many Widowmines there are. Doesn't know there's 4 of them. So we get, 3, okay, he just unloads all 4. Hey, never mind. He just unloads all 4. I was gonna say he can try to keep one Widowmine in the medevac and try to like, juke Clem and reveal it a little bit later and catch him off guard and hide it, but he reveals all 4. Reveals all 4. So far, mining time is denied. Oh, not quite getting the Stalker. And Cure, he will escape with 2 Widowmines. 2 Widowmines, they do escape here, so Clem, sorry, I should say Cure. Cure, he can always go back in. He can always go back in and try to find some more damage. Likewise, 2-gate blink into a 3rd base, very economic, very greedy build here by Clem. But because Cure went for a 1-1-1, Clem is safe. Clem is perfectly safe. If Cure was going for the same build he went for last game, Clem would be in trouble, but Cure isn't being as aggressive. So Clem is safe and sound. He pokes out, he contains his opponent. And Clem, he's free to just probe. To probe, to saturate, charge on the way, Forger +1, into a gateway explosion. Clem being a little bit cheeky here, going into the main. He's being cheeky. Oh! Dives on in, takes down the tank. Yeah, 1 tank goes down. Nice pick off. Likewise, 3 probes going to be going down back at home. Oh, the Raven! Raven goes down as well. Brutal pick off. Yeah, Clem, he snipes the tank, he snipes the Raven, he pulls away. He will lose 3 probes, but that is well worth it for Clem. Clem, he trades 3 workers for a Raven and a tank. A trade that any Protoss will take. Now, Curie does spot one of the observers, but there's a second observer. Oh. And he spots it immediately. So nice pickups. Behind this Clem, he's being a little bit greedier here, but there we go. Gateway explosion, we have 6 gates on the way. That's going to be 8 gates in total, alongside the Bay, alongside Colossus. And again, because of the opener and because of the build of Cure, Clem, he knows he's safe. He knows that he can skip warp-ins and just focus on production and tech. And economy. Widowmines that come back in, Clem, he notices. Nice retargeting. Ooh, the medevac is going to go down. Nice cleanup. Medevac falls, and Clem defends. He defends. Now, when it comes to this move out here from Cure, we should be seeing it momentarily. I was about to say he can soon push, but instead he's going for drop play. He gets spotted. He gets spotted here by Clem. Clem, he responds. Again, he forces the unload. And now it's time to warp in. Like, now that Cure has stim, now that he's broken out, now it's time to warp in back at home. Up until this point, this has been the army. Like, these stalkers and like a handful of stalkers back at home. But now Clem is focused on his production. He's already gotten his production up and running. He already has his tech. Now it's all about warp-ins. Now he can focus on his army. So just very efficient play here by Clem. Likewise, Observer does get eyes on the main force, so he knows whenever there's any kind of move out. Likewise is keeping up with the drop. Getting ready for a run by here on the right-hand side. Now, ideally, you do want to wait for the Terran to push, and then you go in. But Clem is being... he just doesn't care. Jesus. Just doesn't care. Just moves in. Does push forward. The mine shot's going to be going up. Brutal connections. Yeah, massive connections here on those Zealots. And Clem, he's being a little bit too cavalier here. Yeah, he can't quite break this. There's plenty to defend. Clem is warping in back at home. He has no Warp Prism. But he does reinforce. Uh-oh. Cure, he does on Siege, and Clem, this is his moment. Uh-oh. He spots the army. He spots the army with the Observer. He sees, he goes in, he hits the third base. Cure, he has to respond. Cure pushing up from the low ground. Cure getting caught on Siege. There's one tank that just barely sieges up. It's going to go down instantly. Oh, no, survives. Does survive. 11 SCV. That's already worth it. 11 SCVs go down. The economy here being crippled. And again, Cure, he was out of position. This Observer was the MVP. Clem, he pulls away. At least the tank survived. But Clem, he sees everything. I mean, I say this Observer, all the Observers. He has an Observer on the right, on the left-hand side as well. Clem, he spots the drop. Oof. And Curie's just being pulled apart here. There we go. Does spot one observer. It's about to be replaced. Behind this, we have a Dark Shrine on the way, so we're getting to DTs. See Clem poking in. Once again, just getting vision on the main army. And the goal here for Clem is to either bypass the main army or engage as it moves out, catching Cure on siege. Until that happens, Clem, he's free to expand. He's free to just get another base, claim the 5th, getting into +3 attack. At this point, I would love to see extra gases. He does have 1 gas here at the 3rd. Into like a 2nd robo into disruptor production. That'd be the ideal. Just for that, just in case he does end up taking some losses for the Colossus. Just have the extra robo, but for the time being, Clem is just moving in. Just moving in anyway. Catching out a Viking. I would say that Clem doesn't have to trade here, so this is a little bit risky. Gets some free hits off though. Takes down a couple of SCVs. Just flexing his Colossus. Taking down depots. So we're trying to reposition. But so far, nice damage. He gets 2 depots, gets a gas geyser, a couple of SCVs. And Clem, he's maxed. Clem, he's maxed out. And because he's maxed, the onus is on Clem to trade. And there it is. Disruptor production and the 2nd robo. This is the only thing we were missing. So 2nd robo is on the way. Double disruptor production as well. Clem, he is set up. And now he can trade, and ideally he can afford it, and Cure cannot. As Cure's been bleeding out a lot of SCVs. There we go, he commits in. Does focus down the tank. You see, kites back to focus on the Vikings. Vikings, they go for the Colossus. They go for at least 1. But he's getting overwhelmed. Being forced back. Nova goes off. Oof. Takes down a couple of Marauders. 1 Colossus falls. But only 1. And this is still a better trade for Clem. As he's just bullying Cure here. Cure, he just wants to mine. Leave him alone. Yeah. EMPs, they pop up. And Clem is moving in. He's moving in. Massive connection. Oh my god, the connections are brutal. Second Colossus finally falls, but Clemmy's done it. Clemmy's done it. Cure has been broken. We blink on in. We snowball out of control. GG gets called, and Clemmy will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Clem, he will overwhelm, he will take the series. Again, coming into this, Clem, he was the favorite player. Cure, he did have his moments, don't get me wrong, in Game 1 and Game 2. But alas, in the end, Clem did persevere. And with that, we have our 2 finalists. With that, we have our 2 finalists here. It's going to be a TVP between Clem and Max.